Hey, Barry Shank here, talking about implementing a networked classroom. And when I think of that, I think of information in gears, just transferring information from one body to another. I also thought about the word network. Nets, catch and gather, and work to one's advantage. Thereby you get networking, where we can launch out into the deep because of today's technology. As I researched and went on to different social networks, I found that there was just this energy with people who are networking. It's a different type of person that spends more time on networks because they're resourceful. It's kind of like this synergy and an explosion of great ideas. So I also tried to implement all the questions that were on our page, and even though you don't have to answer all of them, they do kind of connect. Richardson talks about in his book about how we have to reach out to help those in our classrooms and the different things that we face and must consider. And becoming a lurker, which I was at first, to a participant, and giving back to others that in ways that affect you and your classroom so that students' options change and that we can put make a good impression on network learning. Of course, there are always setbacks, and it's like the type of person that's networking is thinking about what are my next steps. What I found is that there is this energy towards education that I think has always been there, but now it's brought to the forefront because of social networking and the resources that we find. I mean, it's energizing to an educator to find that there are answers to the hundreds of questions that we face daily sometimes. I found educators, professionals, problem solvers, and resources that I didn't know were there, and this energy that pulses through the veins of technology, and also some non-judgmental, very useful ideas. I like to think of it as brainstorming by design because you can choose what areas you need to research, or you can just surf and find things like, oh yeah, I was thinking about that yesterday or last week. And then your brainstorming becomes this design of networked ideas. Twitter was my first go-to because it had proven helpful for me in the past when I first started seriously social networking for education. These are some of my faves. Of course, LDT colleagues and professionals. Many of you have found, I know, Edutopia to be one of the greatest resources right now for what we are doing and for classroom work. They truly are changing the world one kid at a time to the best of their ability. Then another great hashtag I found on Twitter is John Spencer. I get daily emails from this fella who is a fellow educator and inspirer. He has lots of videos and helpful worksheets and sends out things like this on a daily basis. My internet is super duper slow here up on the ridge. You'd think it'd be better. But every teacher needs a mastermind group, and he'll come up with these just really great creative classroom ideas and encouraging thoughts. So that's John Spencer. And Common Sense Media, which the LDT program uses, which I began using a few years ago in our literature for young children in grade 6 when I first moved to Winona, and found like really helpful lesson plans. And not only that, but communication between school and parent is very important to Common Sense Media. They care about kids. They have book ideas and movie ideas and critiques of what's come out and what's safe and what's not, and lots of safety protocols. So Common Sense is an area that I visit often. And then with my partner, we are researching Finland education, and I found that there is a hashtag Finland education place, plus a hashtag Finland EDU, and a few other things with pros and cons of what's going on in the world of education. Areas of interest for me, of course, are English language arts. If you know me, I like to research the brain function and mental workings, games for classrooms, ideas for literature, which is so exciting, and then, of course, everyday things for students. EduBlogs is the page that I've created for my Drop Everything and Read grade 8 students. And Quizlet is something that I use all of the time. I do spelling in grade 7 and 8, and we have vocab, and there's a live feature that you can use with students. And then there's also this personal type of game that they can play. For instance, play with me. We could play a game of match from our spelling in November, and that is very simple. Kids can use the code having to do with the outside of something. Am I missing something here? Deodorize. Okay, this is going to be maximized right here. A substance made by mixing other substances together. Mixture. They can play that. To eliminate bad odors. Ew, deodorize. Oh, on the outside of something? That's got to be realized. That's stupid. Things that have happened in a person's life or experiences. There's a. Oh, here we go. Externally. And because my mug is sitting there. Sorry. There we go. And now I'm just now the worst player ever in the game of Quizlet. Okay. So that's one thing that I use is Quizlet. The kids have a lot of fun and they compete against each other or can play at home individually and practice because it's linked on my Schoology page. Teachers pay teachers. Forgot my hashtag there, but most of us know that Teachers Pay Teachers is a place for free information or information, worksheets, posters, whatever that you want to buy. And there's hundreds of thousands of things on there to use. It's awesome. I have gained professional connections and found that one thing leads to another, and that the information that I find is either like super boring, bleep, it's gone, or interesting beyond compare, and it lends to me a sense of curiosity. There's support and like-mindedness, and you'll find an honesty and integrity, I think, because people know that's like your name is on the line when you're on the social network, and there's connections there that even though you might be far apart, it seems like your neighbors. So when I post something, I want it to be like my best of something that I can post, so I don't look stupid as an educator or just as a person. In fact, this morning as I was in the waiting room at the clinic, I went onto Reddit and there was a gal asking questions about what do I do for my 10th graders who won't read. And there was some really great suggestions, some that I took screenshots of that I can use in my classroom. And of course, I had to open my mouth and share a couple of ideas, which was really fun. It's really better than watching commercials or something. Is it useful? Yes, it's highly useful. As I said, non-judgmental, professional. It makes me want to work harder and know more, delve deeper, and create. And me being somewhat of an introvert, it helps me to be more of an extrovert, not only in that social way, but if I find something really cool, I want to share it with those that I work with. Secondly is Reddit, which I mentioned briefly before. I had no idea because I used to use Reddit as a relaxation tool for useless information and weird ideas. But it is the bomb. I began cautiously. I spent an hour or so scrolling and trolling through stuff because I was a little skeptical of Reddit, but I tapped into a conversation and received immediate responses. My first conversation was about The Hobbit, which we'll get to in a second. But since then, I have joined a group discussion, how long is a junior high paragraph, and found, it's just great to get other people's opinions. I joined a poetry club, conversation on classroom management, and I started a conversation concerning Finland and the educational system there. Got some negative views and as well as positive views of the Finland education system. This is poetry.org. I now get their daily email every day, thanks to what I found on there on Reddit. And when I typed in the Hobbit information, and it's the first time I'm teaching it, this is what popped up the first time. Plus, I asked a question and got 4 or 5 immediate answers from people who had taught the book to similar age students. And they had some, in fact, one gal had a lesson plan that I completely could download on the book. So this is pretty cool. There was some ELA issues addressed on Reddit. Someone was wondering, yes, how to do that 5x5 paragraph and how many sentences should be in a paragraph and what people thought. So the conversation was just plain interesting. Very useful and efficient. I liked being able to help. I felt supported no matter who or where the comments came from. They were honest. And like I said, yeah, honest and open conversations. Facebook is another network that I do use, but not as much. But as you can see, every once in a while, something great is well liked, like this code.org. Our school is doing a coding club right now. So, and we have done coding in the LDT program. So this was on Facebook. Somebody else is sharing it, and it's pretty cool that I can find not only personal things and say hi to Tiffany's birthday, but then I can also scroll down and find something about school and education. I have had some issues. Um, I'm a person who relies on facial and body expression, so that kind of feedback is not found on social networking usually. My Twitter account got funky on my phone, so I can't access it on my phone, but I can on my computers. Sometimes I feel the pressure that I should be on, and I don't know that I need that right now. At school, students sometimes want just regular old paper. They don't want to go online, which just floors me because send them home and they'll game for 3 hours. I know there is much more that I can find, but where am I going to find the time to do it? And what I would really like to learn more about is the gaming world. How can I fit that into education? So my next steps, as I look at the questions again, I think that I will just unite, continue, be aware, and learn. Like I just found this as I was looking for images on social networking that we can learn to inspire. This is a chat for educators. Have a great day.